Good morning and welcome to semi-final Saturday at the Crucible. 4 players, 3 sessions, 1 table, and at the end of it, 2 will have made it to the final. First up for us, Ronnie O'Sullivan against John Higgins, all square after the first 8 frames, but at the halfway stage, the rocket is in the ascendancy.
John's been a real consistent campaigner this year. You know, we've had a lot of battles over the years, so it's going to be a really tough game.
Nah, can't wait to go and share like 3 days with Ronnie out there in the main stage. It would be brilliant.
It's going into them. How's your luck, John? The red's going in. Can you believe it? Ronnie O'Sullivan looks in devastating form.
He's played the cannon. Has it worked out? Has it worked out? It has, you know. And Higgins levels once again.
Didn't fancy that one little bit. And John Higgins, well, he's just not going anywhere.
Well, nice little touch there from Ronnie. We are all level in this pulsating encounter.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on that pot there.
Oh, that's better. And that should put pay to this frame. Pink and black required for a respot.
Amazing. What an amazing clearance.
Side-to-side shot. It's there. Ronnie O'Sullivan has done almost the impossible in this frame. He's grabbed it right from under John Higgins' feet. O'Sullivan now leads 10 frames to 6.
Well, Steve, I think it's safe to assume that was a massive final frame in that session.
Yeah, it's a blistering end to that frame and that session for Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think everybody expected this match at the start to be a ton fest right from the off, but I think both players were quite tense and nervous, showing each other respect. It looked like that was a pattern of play in the second session, but Ronnie is the first player to have relaxed into the match.
I think it's the synopsis of the semi-final so far. It would suggest Ronnie O'Sullivan's got more of his A game than John has at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like John's been a bit inhibited compared to other rounds, but it's tough out there against another great player. Obviously now John's playing catch-up, but what we do know from long session matches, which is the beauty of these matches, you can get your teeth into them, how one session can be dominated by one player, and the next session, amazingly, the other player can come back. We saw it with Mark Williams. And I think it's maybe the fact that the player who's in front maybe starts to look over his shoulder or her shoulder a bit, whereas the player behind can actually relax. They've got nothing to lose.
Well, John needs a good start, that's obvious, but he also needs to score more. Highest break 58 so far. Can't believe that from John Higgins.
Yeah, I think he will start to relax into the match, because I think it is this thing about, well, I've got nowhere else to go, and all of a sudden you can start to just play your natural game. Forget about the scoreline, just let your natural ability do the work.
I know one thing though, Steve. It's still a long way to 17.
It is, I know. It's a long, long way to 17.
And of course, those two know better than anyone else that there is still a long way to go. In the other semi-final, Mark Williams is now just 2 behind after a stirring fight back yesterday against Judd Trump. Bear in mind, Crucible appearances, of course, 10 world titles between the two of them. Their name adorn the illustrious Roll of Honour here at the Crucible. Ronnie looks like he's ready for business, and so is Rob Walker.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. After 15 fabulous days of action, at last it's time to complete the lineup for this year's Betfred World Snooker Championship Final. And we begin with the meeting of 2 men who between them have done it all. And as such, they're desperate to do it again. Welcome back to the Clash of 92. Please welcome one of the finest sportsmen his country has ever produced. A player of unrivaled mental strength. He will be seriously fired up for this today. The four-time champion of the world, the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins.
Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the waves.
And now to the greatest player in history. He is 7 frames away from an incredible 8th Crucible final. 6 times a champion of the world. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Sizzling Saturday morning atmosphere at the Crucible. You know all the superlatives about these two players. O'Sullivan is a great front runner. Well, the last player you want chasing you is John Higgins. Well, let's see which scenario will play out over the next couple of hours. Stephen Hendry and Dennis Taylor will describe it for us. Morning, guys.
Good morning, Rishi. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to what should be a fascinating session of snooker.
17. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
It's Ronnie's turn to break off, and he won an amazing final frame on a respotted black. As always, it's a pleasure to be sitting next to the 7 times King of the Crucible, Stephen Hendry. Looking forward to this, Stephen.
Yeah, can't wait for this session. I was speaking to John after the session yesterday, and he's, as we were talking about in the studio yesterday, really disappointed in his scoring in this match. He said he just hasn't scored enough to be competing, but he knows better than anyone there's a long way to go in this match. High break of 58 for John in this match is incredible, really. Early mistake, but I don't think he's left anything.
Yeah, but when you think about that, he should have won the last frame. He missed a black before Ronnie made the incredible clearance, and it should have been 11-9. And it just shows you the match play qualities of John Higgins. Highest break of 58, and he would only have been 2 frames behind. But this is an important session. He needs to take this session, you would think, 5-3. So, as John said himself, you play little mini sessions, so he'd be looking for 3 of the 4 frames here before the interval.
Yeah, when you look at John Higgins' long pot success, which is up at 74%, you would expect that standard of long game to be, giving you opportunities to score, but it just hasn't done it. This first frame is, well, you can't describe how important it is for John.
And that was much too thin a contact, and he's left a pot on for Ronnie. You see the shot again, far too thin. But an early tester for Ronnie O'Sullivan here. It's not an easy pot by any means. Where's the red going to finish? It's now a chance for John.
Yeah, it was beautifully struck. But yeah, this is a chance for John. Okay, it's not an easy opener, but these even half chances is what he's going to jump all over this morning.
One.
Also, beautiful struck. But John Higgins's pot hit the leather. First chance.
Oh, and that looks to be perfect. He's dropped on the red that's to the left
6.
of the black, which will clear that black spot area.
Seven.
Just a couple of reds available, and then he'll have to go into the pack.
$14. 15.
He'd like to finish low on this red, the one directly above the black, into the corner pocket, just so he can play a little shot with topspin, bring another couple of reds into play. Looks to be a bit straight to play that shot.
22.
Yeah, so looking for an angle in the black. They are from the right-hand side of the table where John is now. They're a good pack to go into, because you screw into the bunch. You miss the red that's closest to the black. Screw into the bunch and bring that red towards the right corner. Let's see what angle John gets, if he can play that shot.
23.
That's perfect. So he wants to avoid the red that's closest to the black. Hit the main bunch with lots and lots of screw. Pull that red towards the right corner.
He's very unlucky. Played the shot that Stephen suggested there. That red did come out, but the white stuck on it.
Yeah, he's not at the best of running when it going into the reds, splitting reds. I mean, the first frame in the second session played that shot that we showed you at the top of the show, knocking a red into the pocket. When you think he would have won that frame had that not have happened. So there's always an element of luck
30.
when you split the reds.
Ronnie's had a look at a red to see if he can pot it into the right corner. He'll be playing the safety shot back up the table, but he did have a glance to see if it would go. Not sure. And that's the one, but I'm not sure if it was potable. I think he's got away with that. I'm not sure if one of the reds goes into the middle, but this wasn't an easy pot. When he got the double kiss there, he could have left Ronnie right in amongst them. But I don't think there's anything available into that right middle pocket. I think reds are blocking each other. Well, no, it's not. There is room. Thought that was going to come back out again, that red, at that pace. But just lost the cue ball.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Oh, this is not easy. I think John may have to play the 2-cushion escape and glance off those reds, because there's nothing easy to nestle on off a couple of cushions. And these take a little bit of judging. Got to catch it just right. That's where he would like the cue ball to come off the side cushion, and where he had the cue and just glance off one of the reds. Just to the left of the pink. Now he's swerving around, so he's not going to risk the 2-cushion escape. Not sure about that, as to whether Ronnie can get through to cut this red in. He's got one to the middle, but he's looking at the cut back into the corner. Every chance if he pots this, he could finish on the brown. Overcut it.
Yeah, it's a slightly edgy start from Ronnie O'Sullivan this morning. He knows how important this session is. Even if he can share it 4 each, he goes into the final session only needing 3 frames to get into the final. John's going to be very careful. Red's all in the open, all the colours except the pink available. Next mistake I should say, be very costly. And that is a mistake. Is he going to get away with this one? At first glance, he may have. Don't see anything easy.
We talked yesterday about the run of the ball evening itself out over a long match like this. He was on the receiving end of quite a bit of misfortune yesterday, John, but he's got away with this one, so it just shows you that it does even itself out, the run of the ball. How he's got them all safe after making the mistake, it's amazing. That's the view from the back of the Crucible Theatre. Everywhere you're sitting, you've got a perfect view of the table, and you're not that far away from it. That's knocked the black on the side cushion. A very good safety shot, it has to be said. Definitely not what Ronnie wanted there. Knocking the black into an awkward spot. That was quite a clever shot from John Higgins there. Ronnie's got to raise the butt of the cue to create some backspin to get back up to the safe area of the table. And that's excellent. Don't know if John can have a go at this red into the right corner, but look, there's very little path to make it a shot to nothing. There's just look at the reds, one mistake. Okay, the pink and black are awkward. Yeah, he's having to give this quite a bit of thought because I can't see a path back down the table for him. And he can't leave the white up this end of the table because he'll leave a pot into the left corner. There might be a gap, you know, if he takes this pot on to the right corner between the reds and black. So this is a big shot, not only to pot the red, but to find the path back down the table. Wow, that's a fabulous pot. And this time, not so lucky, but what a terrific long pot. But very unlucky for the cue ball to finish up on the side cushion there.
Yeah, had to pot himself out of trouble there. And as soon as he seen the red disappear,
Green ball.
and then where the cue ball hit the red, the shoulder slumped. He knew where it was going to end up.
John Higgins.
But at least he got to play the next shot. Because if he'd missed the pot, he probably would have lost the frame.
And now it's Ronnie's turn to be in a spot of bother because there's no easy path for him back down the table. He's just looking to see if he can leave the white up in the right side of the table here. As long as he doesn't leave the red that's near the black spot, he could attempt that. Oh, loads aside to avoid the reds. That's another fabulous safety shot. And John Higgins coming forward to tap the table. That was so much left-hand side to make sure he didn't career into the reds. This is a fascinating little safety battle here, and they're two of the best tactical players in the game, as well as being two of the best break builders we've ever had. They've got it all, these boys.
a good shot now. That cue ball was going very close to the left middle pocket. If it caught the jaw, the far jaw, it would come back towards the Reds. But as I say, now it's a good shot. Yeah, it's very, very tense now, this opening frame. Both players know the importance of it to win it.
Now, what's available? Well, there's no room past the blue there to pot that, or it's very, very tight. Ronnie having a look, John having a look, we're having a look from this side. But even if he could pot it, how does he get to a colour? He'll be playing the safety shot here, but he'll be sending this red onto the one that's near the pocket. And I think the blue's blocking the path through to the one that's dead near the corner pocket. Now, can he get past the yellow? I think he can. Yeah, there's a gap this time, but as I mentioned, he's got to get up for the, well, blue-green or even further up the table, and he might just be able to avoid cannoning into the red near the cushion with a bit of stun here. Cue ball that needs to pull up to give himself a chance at the brown.
Well, he's coming around to look at the potting point of the brown, so obviously he feels he can pot it and avoid the yellow.
Brando.
Yeah, this is well played.
5. Six.
Well, he's landed tiny cushion, but it's fine because the red is obviously closest to the right corner pocket is available, and natural angle to go back up for the blue. Overhit this slightly. I think John's intimating that the bounces were a bit unnatural of the cushions. As I thought it was guaranteed just to land nicely on the blue there with the angle, but I think they came off the cushion a little bit speedy.
Yeah, you definitely could tell by his reaction that he felt he did get a big bounce off the cushions. You can see it here. Although he seemed to hit it a little harder than he needed there. So now he's faced with a tricky green with the rest.
Yeah, the second cushion, it came off very square. The cue ball was never going to be that close to the blue. Pressure on this now. Yeah, good shot. Though he doesn't want to be using low value colours all the time, because he wants to
13.
be able to be safe in this frame using the reds that are in the open. 43 points ahead.
$14.
Needs to pull up a little bit.
19.
Just okay. It's a very good start for John Higgins here.
Yeah, red, blue, red. We'll see him safe in this opening frame. This massive frame for John Higgins. Just got right side of the blue. Would love to have a little bit more angle, but with that red near the left corner, should be a problem to get on it. Oh, has he gone past?
25.
I mean, he just needs the red, but he didn't want to be bridging over another one to pot it. But be doing nothing with the cue ball here.
$26.
Yeah, it helped there that the red was almost tight on the cushion. So.
John Higgins, 26.
56, the difference. So Ronnie needing a couple of snookers.
Six.
Or is it this much too thick?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Doubles not quite on. We know how good John Higgins is at doubles. He has straightened it up.
It's amazing, these multi-session matches, how it can change the whole momentum. If they had carried on playing yesterday after Ronnie made that incredible clearance and won that frame, he probably would have gone on and won the match without losing many more frames, but had to stop and then overnight come back this morning and sort of get that intensity back that he had at the last frame. It's very difficult.
One.
There's always a chance of a free ball when you've got one red remaining on the table. If you can get the snooker. You'd love to keep the white
6.
where the red is, send that red right around towards the yellow. He would have a snooker.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Middle pocket spoiled that shot.
Foul. John Higgins, 4.
That last shot that John Higgins played, he could have tried to pot the red in the middle pocket, but he played the snooker. He's always thinking. One of the best snooker brains we've ever seen in the game of snooker.
There's no gamesmanship or anything going on here with Ronnie playing on 48 points behind, 35 on. I think the fact that it's the first frame of the morning, he's missed a couple of pots. He just wants to get his cue arm going. And also he knows that wouldn't work with someone like John Higgins anyway.
Yeah, at the moment he needs four 4-point penalty snookers. I think if my memory serves me right, John Spencer once needed 4 snookers against Jimmy White and got them and won a frame. I've just been informed by the 7 times world champion that Marcel needed 4 snookers against him and got the snookers and won the frame.
One.
Well, that tells me that he's not going to play for the snookers now. He wouldn't have potted the red. Maybe I'm wrong, he's looking at the scoreboard.
8.
Less chance once he potted that last red.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
Frame 14, I think was the longest of the match, 36.5 minutes that was.
Two. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2.
Now that he's knocked the black safe, very little chance of Ronnie getting the snookers that's required here in this opening frame, and it's quite tense out there. It's amazing we played that much safety and tactical play. John's just lost this cue action for the moment as he hangs his head.
Free. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 3. Four.
Three snookers now needed, because if he was to get a snooker, get 5 penalty points.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by Ronnie's game plan here. He's potting some balls, but I mean, if you're going to play for snookers, surely you pot the last. You don't pot the last red. But anyway, that should be the end of frame now.
5 in the
Yeah,
frame.
Ronnie's popping out of the arena. The longest frame of the match so far. But John Higgins won't be concerned about that. He won the frame and he closes the gap to just 3. It's 10-7.
Well, a few different headlines in that frame. Obviously, the longest frame of the match you just heard from Dennis. A strange end to it, Ronnie persevering for so long, but also one of the best safety exchanges that I think you're saying that you've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've not seen every single frame here that have been here since the start, but that was as good as you were going to see in the start of that, in the middle. The tactical exchange of the two players, you showed how good they were. I mean, it's not often Ronnie has to use it because he's usually in potting balls, but you saw the two of them, two of the very best matching up. There's about 7 or 8 shots where they just came back to each other, where they just kept everything brilliant to a level that most players can't play to.
And Steve, as good as people are at potting and as much as we like to see it, would it be fair to say that the safety exchange between these two players shows mental strength more than anything else?
I think it shows the respect they got for each other and the fact that it's sort of like a little bit like a game of chess, that both players are trying to not exactly psych each other out, but get the upper hand in all departments of the game. It was a bit weird at the end.
Yeah.
You know, once the red goes off the table, there's no chance of getting a substantial amount of points from a free ball, and it would have been the time to give up that frame. But perhaps you know, Ronnie sort of felt maybe a freak result to get 3 or 4 snookers with just the colours left could happen every now and again.
Yeah, try getting 4 snookers against John Higgins. Good luck with that one.
Thank you, frame 18. John Higgins to break.
Yeah, there's not been many frames over 20 minutes, let alone over the half-hour mark. So I think that will be very rare that we'll see, if any, more frames like that in this match. As I say, it was a bit of a strange ending. There was a time last season or the season before where Ronnie was playing on in matches almost 70-80 behind with just the pink and black on. Wasn't quite at that level in the last frame. That'll irritate Ronnie, catching the brown with a safety shot. The cue ball not reaching the baulk cushion.
Well, this will be some shot if you can pull it off, because you can stun this in and get himself over on the black. Oh, now that never got anywhere near the pocket. Now where's the red going to finish up? If it kisses the white, I think he might just be okay. I don't know if there's a plant that he could maybe suss out in the bunch there. But I don't think so. But that wasn't a nice bit of cueing from John there.
Yeah, I'm watching John and he's having a smile to himself. Maybe that playing on by Ronnie in the last frame did upset his rhythm a little bit. And it was strange to see a reaction from Ronnie when he came to the table. He had a sort of little half sarcastic smile and shake of his head when John got away with that. So maybe a little bit of an edge to this third session. Still, let's say, got that little bit of a smile.
Got to be a little bit careful if he's going to come down off the left side of the pack. Oh, hang on a minute, he can get past the yellow. So he might have a go at this. He would finish on the black. Just enough room. He thought everything would be safe in the bunch, but the red he's missed. John can have a go at as a free shot. take it up into the corner and try and get on the black.
One.
Watch out, there's a wizard about. Great shot. And forced the positional side of the shot there with
8.
just the power.
Nine.
As I mentioned at the start of this session, this is the part of the game where John's really got to step up
17.
and try and impose his scoring on this match. It'd be very difficult to keep just making 50 breaks and winning this semi-final.
24.
He's got to start putting some real pressure on Ronnie by winning frames at this in one visit when he gets in first.
$25.
That was the best he could do there because of the angle he had on the pot, and just means he was finishing further away from the black than he would have liked. So this is a key early shot in this second frame of this session coming up.
Yeah, no problem.
Spotted something on the cue ball there. He's just working out where he'd like to cannon the reds. He's got the loose reds, but we know what John's like. Oh, is he unlucky? Well, that's amazing. You could play that shot another 10 times and you're bound to finish on something.
John Higgins, 32.
Left the white quite a bit short there, usually on the ball cushion with a safety like that. Just making sure that he's not going to knock a red over the right corner pocket when playing the safety shot here. The cannon on the brown has left a long red for Ronnie. It is a tester, as we show you the white just colliding with the brown to leave this chance on. It's not an easy one.
1.
Oh, what a wonderful pot. Just lost the cue ball a little bit, but always nice to knock that type of shot in. This is quite a cutback here. And this time it's Ronnie's turn to be a bit unlucky. Had to play the cannon to stop the white from going up the table, but pushed the red. Well, it's very, very difficult to slot this into the middle pocket. No, he's just playing the safety shot. Or is it a double? It's a double.
Nice.
And it's there. Nice play, a John Higgins type shot there. Brilliant double.
Yeah, I think he looked at the red nearest the middle pocket to see if he played a double and left that red, would it be on? And it's not really on, so it looks from that view that it is. You'd need to be very close to it with the cue ball. Where he is now, it'd be a very, very difficult shot. It's a very acute angle, this. Not much of the pot, not much of the pocket sticking out. And you can see that gives you a better view how tricky this shot is. Top spin off the left side cushion. Try and take the cue ball into the reds. Not sure if there's any reds that will pot. Both players,
22.
when they're going into the reds, missing that little bit of luck. Played it well.
Yeah, it can be such a frustrating game at times when that happens. You have to go back to your seat and you know if just that fraction and you had a chance to go on and knock a sizable break in. And that's when you have to be patient on things not going your way and you're not getting the rub of the green. Spotted something on the red this time. But yeah, that opening frame, there was some wonderful safety shots, and I think John Parrott enjoyed it as well. It was a fascinating exchange of safety shots. Yeah, I think this is the better choice. He was going to try and get in behind the black, but this guarantees a good safety shot.
again making contact with the ball colour, and this has left Ronnie a chance of the pot. It's near the pink spot to the right corner. Cue ball in behind yellow and brown. That's a wide. Okay, the safety was the most important part of the shot, but that was a poor shot from Ronnie. Again, looks a little bit of an edge to Ronnie this morning. Hasn't settled yet.
That was unintentional. Cannon there. Once again, everything perfectly safe.
Yeah, when John is getting these little flicks that are going his way, Ronnie's showing a little bit of reaction. Just little, as I say, little sarcastic kind of smiles when he comes to the table, which is unlike him because he normally shows nothing when his opponent gets a bit of good luck. So that's why I say I don't think he's really settled into this morning session yet. It's a very important one. As I said, he wants to take a nice lead into tonight's final session. He knew he had the momentum after yesterday's incredible last frame, taking the 10-6 lead.
Yeah, a little bit of a stalemate at the moment. You can see he's not enjoying this.
Yeah, but it's emotions that he wasn't showing yesterday.
Yeah, when the frames go a little awkward, yeah, you've just got to knuckle down. Now there's a red come over the pocket, but look at the positional shot. He's got the white exactly where he wanted. And now the safety shot has to be spot on to cover that red. Now, what has he sussed out here? Because this is pretty awkward. He'll do well to find the gap, but we know how good he is. getting out of a difficult situation like this. And the one that's over the pocket, the other red, you know, he can't really play it off the cushion. He's had a look at that, and it's not on for him. So back to this difficult escape with a little bit of swerve. I'll tell you what, he's done well there.
Yeah, that was a fabulous shot. Even when Ronnie's playing normal safety shots, he never plays plating balls, so he's used to playing with sort of flicks of side here and there, and that was beautifully judged.
Well, I'm right down the line, and John can get through to the potting angle of the 1-2 from the pocket. Similar type shot available to Ronnie. You can play it, cut this red in and play it with a little bit of right hand side to not cannon into the blue or pink. And there we have it, not one colour on its spot.
Yeah, again, Ronnie took a while to get up from his seat there. And again, you can see the half smile. He feels he's getting a lot of, or John is getting a lot of nice rubs in these safety exchanges. Wonderful shot. Wonderful touch.
It is fascinating to watch these two brilliant players exchange these safety shots here. This frame already, well, not far off, 23 minutes, and we've still got quite a few reds on the table. John can have another go at a pot here with safety in mind. The one to the left of your screen there. You can get through to that, but that's not a lot of use to him. Although, having said that, where the black's sitting, but he can take the other one as a free shot, and that's the one he's decided on. Playing the same sort of shot that John attempted. Safety in mind, with the possibility of cutting the red in. Just a bit awkward there with his bridge hand. Just can't find a comfortable spot. I think the first player that manages to get in behind the yellow or brown there, they're a pretty good target, but see that one next to the black, he can't hit the left side of it to get back down the table, so can't really get it into the awkward spot. Can just leave it over that left side of the table. That was always available to him there. And this time Ronnie, oh, the kiss on the yellow has spoiled it, but still perfectly safe. This Crucible crowd, they're engrossed in this safety battle here. Oh, there's a gap. He can get through to the red. That little flick has left the gap there, as you can see. He knows the importance of this shot as his guaranteed position if he pots it. There's only half a pocket there though.
One.
Phenomenal concentration after such a long bout of tactical play, to be able to focus on that pot. Okay, it wasn't the most difficult pot in the world, but still, when you've been playing safety for that long, sometimes it can be difficult, that first chance you get. John actually played a very good shot on his safety shot, but just that, as Dennis said, that little flick, allowing Ronnie to have the red to go at.
9. $16.
Yeah, John looked like he'd played a terrific safety shot here. And just watch the white as it comes around and just glances off the brown and leaves the gap.
He's just left himself slightly hampered on this black. He's able to get to the middle of the cue ball, so he's okay. It's not going to be easy to win the frame at this visit, especially now he's landed
24.
Just a little bit awkward on this red. As you can see, dead straight. May even screw out for the pink to the right middle here. It'd be a nice ball to play for you. An angle in the pink, you'll be able to cannon one of the reds out.
$25. $32. $33.
Just taking you around the wonderful Crucible Theatre there. And here comes the cue ball. How's your luck, Ronnie? How is your luck?
39.
What an effort to try and cannon the reds from that position. It's an awkward one with the extension on the rest and the extension on the cue because he's quite close to the red. He's got to get the tip of the cue out of the way quickly. That's why he'd rather stretched round and played it, which he might try and do again. There's less chance of pushing it. If he's quite supple as Ronnie, and he needs it there. Yeah, well played.
$40.
Yeah, the pink was a magnificent shot, wasn't it?
Here's another magnificent shot coming up. If he takes the black, he's got to go all the way around the angles again to get to that red. Still looking at the tip there, but this will be some positional shot. That little fibre maybe just in his eye line again, just breaking away from the tip. Here comes the cue ball. Needs to watch the middle pocket.
47.
Yeah, didn't quite get the cue ball high enough up the right cushion. Bounced too close to the middle pocket, that's why he almost went in off, but it's still on this red. Just needs the red to leave John needing a snooker.
$48.
No, it's been a quite magnificent visit to the table from Ronnie O'Sullivan. The way the reds were when he came to the table, it never looked like a chance to win the frame in one visit. But with his the cue ball control that he possesses, he's able to make these half chances into real chances to win the frame. Brilliant this has been.
Well, the clearance he made in the final frame of the last session was incredible. To finish up winning on a respotted black, but yeah, when he came to the table here, we didn't think there was many available to him, and just look what he's done.
Yeah, it's been
62.
Genius.
$64.
And he's going to end up clearing the table. It's just an artist with that cue ball control.
67.
The pink was the highlight.
71.
Well, he may have looked a little edgy at the start of this session, but this will certainly settle him down. This has been magical to watch. He's not going to bother with the black. Little bit of misfortune from John Higgins, a little flick on the brown, but that break was absolutely genius, as Stephen Hendry said. And Ronnie O'Sullivan back into a 4-frame lead, 11-7.
Yes, an 80-plus break from Ronnie O'Sullivan, but it feels like it was worth 164.
Best break of the championship. That is the best break of the championship. I mean, that was granite snooker for about, what, nearly an hour? And, you know, your cue arm is frozen. I mean, we're going to show you the picture. Have a look at this, Rishi. You come and have a look at this table, right? And put this up in your club and see how many points you make from there, right?
One? No,
well,
not even that.
I mean, the first red, after you've not been playing for a while, is an absolute corker. But to clear up from there, I mean, honestly, some of the shots in the middle, the pink that he played as well. I mean, what a fantastic break that was.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's why the safety's been so good. John Higgins got a little flick that left Ronnie in for that shot. Otherwise, it was still granite safety all the way. He was out of position a little bit, Ronnie, with this. This was one of the great shots of the tournament so far. He got everything he deserved from that. The power he put into that with side spin, so easy to miss the pink. He's such a talented player, and that break in itself is a case to be made for Ronnie O'Sullivan being the 2022 world champion. He is that good.
Honestly, sitting here getting goosebumps watching that. Obviously, the safety play has been extremely absorbing and enthralling, but there's jousting. But when one of them's let off the leash, like Ronnie was there, but he had to make that running, that is just as good. I mean, you guys have said it, and to watch it is an absolute privilege.
There's very few people, honestly, who've been born on the planet who could do what he's just done there. I mean, really, very few people. I mean, it's, as I say, it's after the protracted safety battles, he's got no rhythm. I mean, John Higgins can't get any run when he goes into the pack, but he's getting plenty of flicks on his safety. And you can see from Ronnie, he's sitting there thinking, oh, there's another one you've had. Eventually, he got a bad flick off the brown. But to come in and be able to do that after that safety battle, very, very few people can do that.
Steve, I was just going to ask perhaps about the gamesmanship that we've seen this morning. Has there been, in your own view, a little bit of it?
No, not at all. Just respect, and it's so important to keep the ball safe from these types of players, because they know for the other guy can just make something from nothing. So John will not be going, oh, no, my luck's not, you know, a curse. He knows that it's just fractions.
It's the funny thing with John is he's desperate to make a break and get higher than that 58, but twice he's been in the pack this morning, both times it's stuck. He just can't get scoring.
I'm just surprised Ronnie hasn't got that little bit of sandpaper, very, very fine sandpaper, because we've seen him there in between frames looking down the... Oh, well, he's got it, yeah. Yeah, that'll just sort of get rid of that little loose fibre sticking out a little bit from the tip.
Yeah, he might start playing well when he gets his tip right, Dennis. That's one of the best breaks I've ever seen in the previous frame.
I'm just thinking, Stephen, the first 2 frames lasted just over an hour. Ronnie O'Sullivan has played a match in the Masters where he won 6-0 in under an hour. 6-0 in under an hour.
Yeah, these first 2 frames, it's as tough match play as you could ever see. Wonderful safety shot, this time from John Higgins. As I said earlier, Ronnie likes to play his safety shots using side to manoeuvre the cue ball. When you put the cue ball tight in that baulk cushion, he can no longer do that, so you take away a bit of his armoury in terms of the safety exchange, so it may just be a containing shot here. Leave the cue ball on the black cushion. He may... Well, he's eyeing this up as if he's possibly taking the pot on. No, just a safety. But not a good one. That red's cuttable.
It certainly is cuttable, but it's all about the cue ball that's going to head towards the green, but just forget about the white. Just concentrate on cutting the red in and hope you get onto a colour. But it's very difficult to control the cue ball.
One.
Well, if the brown doesn't pass the green and he's covered the green, that's a bit unlucky. And that's the result there. I know it was difficult, but once he got past the green, I thought he's bound to be on a colour. Can he just get through to the green? It's tight. And the yellow's far from easy.
Yeah, it's been absolutely cursed there. That was as bad a bit of luck as you could see. I mean, once you've cut the red in the middle, you think you're guaranteed to be nicely in a baulk colour. To say this is yellow's into a blind pocket. He looked at playing the green possibly with a bit of right hand side to try and swerve around the brown, because he knows he's automatically on the red to the left of the blue. Not happy about it though. Both players, when they get there, get up and down. It's just creating even more tension in this match. He is going to try and swerve around the brown. But in doing it, he's overdone it for the red to the left of the blue, as I said. In doing it, he's overdone it.
Five.
It's not getting any easier, this, is it? Potting himself out of trouble, but again, the cannon. I mean, another day the cue ball hits that red to the left of blue, leaves you perfect. He's had some nice little flicks and safety shots, but whenever he's been on a break, he's had zero luck. The whole match, actually.
Yellow ball. John Higgins, 5.
There's a red next to the black, which is putting him off maybe taking this pot on, because he knows if he doesn't get it, he could leave John in here. No attempt at the pot there. That was just an out-and-out safety shot. They've been in here just over an hour and they've been fascinated with this morning's play so far, as we all have been. We've had some magical tactical play, and then that amazing break in the second frame. We've had a bit of everything, and they're from all over the world here at the Crucible. Had people from the Far East, from the Netherlands, Germany, lots of Scots down, Irish over. Much too thin, needs to pull up. Well, there is a possibility here for John Higgins, and he can get on the black if he can knock this one in. He's normally very reliable with that type of shot, as John. And I think that last frame, you know, he wasn't expecting Ronnie to clear up after he just nudged the brown and left the gap for the red.
One.
That's a wonderful pot, and played it with pace to make sure he'd got a chance at the black, and if he gets a delicate little cannon here, he can stay up in amongst the reds. He's got the one up near the brown, but I think he can just hold and get the cannon here. Still looking at the tip though. It's a terrific chance now.
8. 9.
Yeah, you just wonder what might happen in this session now. That last attempted pot from John Higgins was quite a weak effort, actually. Didn't really threaten the pocket. It's not the form that he would have wanted in this third session. He's just not been able to get going at all in this match in terms of scoring and sort of imposing his game on Ronnie. At this level, that long red that he missed was a real chance. And if you're not going to take those, you're not going to win this championship, I'm afraid, when you get to this level. And John knows 16. That as well as anyone. And you see again, never anywhere near, was it?
$17.
You just wonder, Dennis, with the season John's had, been in so many finals and losing them, is that finally, do you think, sapped at his confidence?
Well, I thought that against Jack Lisowski, and then he produced 2 magical
22.
frames to win that quarter-final. So you just never know with this player and the talent he has. But
23.
listen, he's up against the greatest of all time.
$29. $30.
The red to the left of the little cluster of 6. If that goes to the right corner, it might not go into the bunch here, but if it doesn't, he'll play the cannon. So obviously it didn't. But that for Ronnie O'Sullivan is a bad shot.
37.
He wanted to miss this red. He wanted to go into the 5 to the right of that one. He'll be, well, you can tell, he's very angry.
Just composing himself because he was annoyed with his last shot.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 37.
You can just see him talking to himself there, giving himself a little telling off. Still mumbling away there. Might be tempted to take this red up into the left corner, screw back for the green. It's a sort of free shot. Wouldn't leave anything. And he won't be far away from this. And as I say, if he screws the white back, he's nicely on the green. When the reds come up to the right of the blue, it won't cut into the middle. But it needs a good pot up into this corner. Good cueing. Excellent cueing there.
Six.
Yeah, the red on the left cushion is obviously, as John shakes his head again, because he's not nicely on this red. Yeah, that red is obviously going to be the problem, the yellow that John put there as early as when he went 5-0 ahead. The yellow's been there virtually the whole frame. So he wouldn't call this a chance to win the frame at this visit, certainly. But then you wouldn't have in the last frame either.
Yeah.
But at least if you can take these 5 reds in the open with colours right back in the frame, that'll be what he's thinking at the moment. Won't be getting too ahead of himself. He's got the red in the left middle. It's not the one he played for. Played for the one next to the pink. We always had this one in reserve.
$15.
And not got right side of the blue, so he's going to have to play the red to the right of the 4 from a distance. And this is also obviously a massively important visit to the table for John Higgins, and he wants to be making things as easy as possible.
20.
A little bit of pressure on this now. Stun run through for the black.
$21.
Well, he chose just to drag it in, which is actually probably a more difficult way of playing it, actually. But nice pot. But because he played that with very little power, those 2 reds together, I'm wondering if they've blocked each other now. He may have played the cannon, the screw into the 3 reds, try and get into the middle of them. He can just play for the red next to the pink to right middle. But I think the cannon would be my choice. Yeah, played to perfection. But again, just whenever you have to go into reds, then I think just don't seem to be coming out
28.
nicely at any time, do they?
Yeah, he couldn't play that any better, and he's left it a little awkward.
$29.
But I've seen this player also clear up from some unbelievable situations where the balls all look to be tied up, and he still manages to do what Ronnie did in the previous frame.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, I'll be playing obviously for the black. Now the red that's to the right of the black, he'll be hoping to be straight on that red, so he can leave the cue ball where the red is. Nice angle on the black to try and move that red away from the left cushion. So he'll be thinking 3 shots ahead here.
$36.
So he wants to be straight on this red to the right corner. Which he is. So now just leave the cue ball where the red is.
43. $44.
He did exactly as Stephen suggested, and that's the angle he's left himself to flick that red down the cushion. Looks good. Oh, he's unlucky. Just a fraction out of knocking that red over that corner pocket.
51. John Higgins, 51.
And that's a pretty good way to finish that effort. To cushion, glance off the red. It's difficult, this. Yeah, never guaranteed to knock that safe.
Now I wonder what sort of angle in this red John's got. Can he come off the black cushion and try and flick the yellow out here? Maybe a little bit straight on the red. Oh, he's got a bit of an angle. Thought he might have been tempted to try and play the cannon, but he's left himself perfectly on the black. So what a shot this could be.
Yeah, if he pots the black, Ronnie will only be able to tie.
Yeah, so I didn't look at the score actually, so he may just make sure the black. Well, he has gone for the cannon. And it's worked out fine. He's got the yellow to its own pocket. Great shot. This has been a wonderful frame from John Higgins. He's under huge pressure in this match. Showing tremendous character, which we all know he's got anyway. He'd never write him off.
Well,
you can't take your eyes off this match for a second, can you, Dennis?
I'm loving every minute of this.
17.
Looked as if Ronnie was going to start taking control, but there's an inner strength with John Higgins that kicks in every time he's under pressure. And he's played a wonderful frame of snooker there. And he closes the gap. And Ronnie leaves the arena. And this is fascinating. 11-8.
Incredible perseverance, determination and strength of character from John Higgins once again.
How hard is he? I mean, honestly, it's just, you know, he'd lost a little bit of rhythm. He's not been scoring enough. Brilliant 50-odd, 51 break in that frame to get it, and rock-hard match play, and he's just hanging around. You've got to beat him.
Well, Steve, when you consider that he's up against the #1 player in the world, the 6-time world champion, and his highest break so far in the match is 58, yet he's only 3 behind, what does that say?
Well, John Higgins, all his career, has never shied away from playing all types of snooker. Whereas some of the players, yeah, you would argue, like faster players, seem to have only the one gear. John Higgins has always been able to play a variety of, and not put himself down and beaten himself up when it's not gone well, because he knows full well that how quickly things can turn around. So hanging in there is the order of the day, especially if you go on the back foot, as happened at the end of the last session. So he's come out with, I imagine, great resolve. You know, never going to give up, never ever going to give up. Great champions don't do that. And Ronnie knows that that's John Higgins as well. Yeah. So that's why he's still on his mettle. The safety plays, it's been granite, and they wait for their chance and then they take it. I mean, you could say it's connoisseur snooker because nobody likes slow snooker, but you know, it is absolutely mouth-watering stuff for experts of the game.
It's a big frame coming off, because if you go to the interval, 11-9 behind, and Ronnie knows how hard it's been. This is a massive frame coming up here.
can take this red on, but he's refused a few of them and concentrated on keeping it tight, but he's had a wander around the table, and I think he may just, well, still a bit reluctant to take the red on, but it's a funny angle, so he may just play the safety. See, if it was a little bit further to the left, the cue ball, he could take it on and get nicely onto the black, but it's such a tough pot. Once again, when Ronnie has the cue ball cleaned, he just goes back to his seat and likes to wait until the balls are replaced, and just probably his way of focusing. Yeah, decided on the safety, because had he have attempted the pot, he might have gone too close to the black.
Will John possibly be able to get the cue ball on the baulk cushion somewhere behind the green? John's turn to get a ball cleaned. This time it's a cue ball. Ronnie uses the more traditional chalk that does leave chalk on the table and on the balls. John uses the new stuff that doesn't do that. So all the chalk marks and stuff that's on the table will all belong to Ronnie.
A little bit awkward now with that red up near the green. John would have had in his mind coming out this morning and taking this little mini session 3 frames to 1. There's still a possibility he could do that. When you have a 4-frame advantage, you know if you keep sharing the sessions, you're going to win the match. See, the pink's in an awkward spot to get the safety shot down that side of the table. Very tight. I don't think the red to the right of the bunch, there you can see it. Ronnie had a quick look at it and that tells you it doesn't go. But he's looking at the other one to See if he could play it as a free shot, screw back for the black, take it up into the corner. Wouldn't leave anything, only the red that he's attempting. He's still looking down the cue and he can see just at the end of the cue, there's something catching his eye.
One.
Well, you won't see many better shots than that. Not only the pot, but the position. Oh, look how he got through the pack there with that screw. That may have looked easy.
8.
But he got a lot of action on the cue ball there. An early chance in this frame before the mid-session interval.
Okay. Nine.
He's got options here. He could screw into the pink and red, leave one to left corner pocket. Yeah, that's what he played. Played to perfection. He could have
16.
come off the right cushion for a red to left middle. Slightly different
17.
Ronnie O'Sullivan these days in his break building from, say, a Judd Trump who would want to open the reds up at the first opportunity. Ronnie tends to wait for the optimum time in the break to do it. Relies on his cue ball control.
24. 25.
He nearly put a careless one in there. That wobbled a few times. But that will sharpen his concentration. The fact that he almost missed that. Oh, and that's opened another, well, 4 or 5 reds up.
32.
As Stephen said, he waited for his chance and then decided to go into them when he felt the time was right, and it's worked out perfectly.
Thirty-three. $35. $36. $41. 42.
I mean, this chance that he's got here was created by an unbelievable long pot up into the right green pocket there, to the right of the green. And that's
47.
pretty good there, choice of reds. The one will get him through to his next colour. I think there's a gap there to get through for the black, but he can also play for the pink. So he's got options here.
$48.
He's going to have to play another little cannon here to stop the white running up the table. But I mentioned about the long red he knocked in. It was an exceptional pot. Have a look at this. I mean, that was an absolute gem he pulled out there. And once again goes and sits down while the black's being cleaned. And this next shot will possibly determine the outcome of this frame. Perfectly played.
$55.
He's made 2 centuries and he's made 2 90 breaks in this semi-final.
56.
And every chance he's going to finish this little mini session with quite a high break.
Yeah, it's been the difference and the reason that Ronnie is 4 frames,
63.
well, looks like he's going to be 4 frames in front again, is just his scoring has just been so much heavier than John's. He's just not missing anything easy, and that's the secret. It sounds simple, but if you can reduce unforced errors to an absolute minimum, don't miss anything that you're not supposed to, then
69.
You'll go very well in the match.
70.
John has simply not been able to do what Ronnie's doing right now. Get in early in a frame and win it at one visit.
$77. 78.
Well, this little mini session, we've had everything from
85.
both these players. Some wonderful
86.
tactical play. John clearing up with a terrific 50 break. But it's the more fluent Ronnie O'Sullivan who looks as if he's
93.
going to finish this final frame before the interval with a century.
93.
And he's made 1,163 centuries. And there's another one. And even the great Ronnie O'Sullivan can't pop this red. Oh, he's given a good shot though. Red doesn't go in. They've shared this mini session, and what a way to finish it with that magnificent 100 break. And they go off, and Ronnie O'Sullivan still leads by 12 frames to 8, 4-frame advantage.
Well, 4 frames the advantage when they restarted, 4 frames the advantage, despite some incredible snooker, admittedly from both players, but in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, that's another fantastic break he's made there. I mean, Dennis showed the red going into the green pocket, but what about the 2 splits? I mean, he's decided this is the time. He's gone in, the first shot with the power into the pack is absolutely lovely. You've got to hit. There's so much work on the cue ball, and opens them up, and then later on he decides that, well, I think I need to go in again, and there's no messing around. He just goes straight into the pack off this one, arcs the cue ball, knows there's going to be a red there in the middle of the table if he doesn't quite come out right, but it was perfect. 2 wonderful examples of how to make a break and make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, he's such an excellent break builder when it comes to the vision of when to go into the pack, and it's been great from both players in their respective ways. John's hung on in there really well. You know, he's the person that probably had to stop the rot, knowing full well that Ronnie's a front runner. Ronnie came in knowing full well to try to really put the screws on for John Higgins to make that harder for him. And they both had their moments. Obviously, Ronnie's more so than John, but even so, all credit to John for sticking at his job as well, because the only way back into it is to fight as hard as he possibly can to somehow get an advantage over the greatest player we've probably ever seen on the snooker table.
Just one thing I wanted to say about this session and the way that the match has gone so far. And obviously in the studio here, we tried to find something really clever to say, but quite simply, would it be the case if John Higgins cannot find a way to build a break bigger than 58, you're not going to beat the world #1, no. Ronnie O'Sullivan, who looks as fluent as he does when he gets in? Yeah,
it's been hard work. Both players come out with a lot of credit. John's put him through the mill there. He's absolutely made it and put it up to him and said, right, this is going to be granite. You're going to have to earn your chances. But when Ronnie has earned the chances, then he's been brilliant in the frames that he's won. John's doing everything at the moment he can do with what he's got. At the moment, he's not scoring. A couple of times early on, he's gone in the pack. It hasn't happened. He's in there grafting as hard as he can, saying, you are going to have to earn this. Yeah. But at the moment, Ronnie's standing up to that.
Yeah, and most players with that lead over John Higgins would maybe falter under the types of pressures that John Higgins can put on him, but Ronnie doesn't. So it's a massive uphill climb for John Higgins to get back into this match.
Yeah, Ronnie O'Sullivan 12-8 in front. Now, if you were joining us on BBC Two for the film The Bandwagon, we're sticking with the snooker. Of course, we still have 4 more sessions of this morning's play between Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins still to come. But right now, we're going to switch our attention to the women's tour, which of course was on hiatus between March 2020 till August 2021 because of the COVID pandemic. But thankfully, they were able to restart last year, which meant that the World Championship, which had been on hold since 2019, was able to be held in Sheffield in February this year. And this is what happened.
The World Women's Snooker Championship was staged for the first time since 2019, with 50 of the best players from around the world gathering in Sheffield at the Ding Junhui Academy. 12-time winner, world #1 and reigning champion, England's Rhian Evans was missing from the sharp end of the tournament, crashing out in the quarter-finals to Belgium's Wendy Jans. The Chinese world #2 Ng On Yi followed, losing a final frame decider to Thailand's Nucharu Wong Harutai. That meant that the Mandy Fisher Trophy would have a new name on it, with the 4 semi-finalists having never lifted it before. Wong Harutai, the world #3, beat England's Rebecca Kenner, ranked 1 place below her to book her place in the final. In the other semi-final, Jans faced England's Jamie Hunter, a transgender player making her first appearance in the tournament. But it was the part-time Belgian who booked her first final appearance with a comfortable 5-2 victory.
Considering I don't play that much myself because I've got my own business at home, I run my own snooker club, so I don't really have much time to practice. I just play for fun, basically, so I'm really happy with the way I played. I mean, so far it has been good enough, and we'll see how it goes in the final.
The crowd may have been a bit sparse due to COVID regulations, but those that were there enjoyed a thriller. The best of 11 came down to a black ball decider in the final frame, and with Jans having missed, Wong Harutai grabbed the lifeline to sink the championship-winning ball, and with it, the Mandy Fisher Trophy.
It's very happy and Very exciting because my first time for the world champion. Yeah.
And well done to Mink and also to Bex Kenner. They've both picked up tour cards for the season ahead. Now, early this week at the Crucible, we saw the 12th maximum here in Sheffield, and it came courtesy of the Aussie, Neil Robertson.
There's the cue ball going.
Foul.
In
Neil
the
Robertson
pocket.
full.
Maybe that poor safety in the previous frame may have a slight effect on him now. He's got to get over that. He's been working with Peter Ebden on the concentration, psychology side. He's going to need every bit of that experience from Peter Ebden now. And particularly giving chances to this man.
Yes, Neil was certainly let off the hook in the last frame.
8. Nine.
Nicely nudging the other red into play, and no reason to think he won't play for this red near the top cushion. Just makes the black freely available into both corners.
16. 17.
He's got a perfect angle. Doesn't have to go into the reds here, but he's got a nice angle to do so. And he has done. He's okay. He's got a red up into the yellow pocket. And he's got this red into the left corner. Problem about playing this red into the left corner. He's going off another red and could lose the cue ball to the left-hand side cushion or near that red. It's close to the left-hand side cushion. That's what he's afraid of. The red up into the yellow pocket should be okay. A little bit more difficult, but I fancy him to get this. Yeah, no problem.
25.
It's 4 reds, 4 blacks.
32.
No, it's a little bit early, but had a few chances already.
33.
On both tables. Maximums in this championship. He certainly won't be concentrating on that just now. Get another frame on the board and close the gap. No, this will tell a story. If he plays back for black here,
40.
it's easier to play for the blue, but if he plays for black, well, he's screwing back, so it's on his mind.
41.
As you can see, he's come very straight on it. I think the bottom red will go, but it's a very precise positional shot he's going to have to play here. Hmm.
48.
I think he might have overscrewed that. No, he's having a look at... Just get through to it.
49.
Just lost the cue ball slightly, so he needs a a good cannon here. And if it goes right, surely it'll win him the frame.
No, that's a beautiful shot. Yeah, it was missable that. But he's played
56.
it beautifully. Now it is on. Reds are
57.
Beautiful position here. Nothing on a cushion. Doesn't have to develop any more reds. Red just above the black and slightly to the right. May take that one because that will release the two reds around the pink spot into the bottom right corner pocket.
64. $65.
Pots this black and one more red. Frame one. Maximum, a definite possibility. The reds could not be better situated.
We were talking about Robertson's pace in that, particularly that first frame, but you can see how much of the pace is picked up now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, slight heavy contact, but he's still okay.
You have to reflect on the last frame where he seemed to do everything wrong, but somehow he won the frame, and that just seems to have relaxed him now. Looks to be purpose in his stride and the way he's getting down to play the shots. He's just looking. Ken's put a circle in there. He'd like to be in that circle. He'd have a choice of reds. And that'll do nicely.
80.
Yeah, that was a nice little nudge on that red. He's still in prime position.
$81.
Nopon Singham got to 14 reds and 14 blacks today against John Higgins on this very table. That's okay. 2 reds into the
88.
right middle.
$89.
Little bit of adrenaline in that one, but it's okay. Hmm.
96.
Problem. Now it all depends if red to the the left middle. Can he screw back and avoid the kiss on the second red? He could.
97.
Still on track.
That was a wonderful shot. Now we can play for the choice of 2 reds. Anyway, just doesn't want to be hampered. And that's okay. He's played for the red. It's just gone a little bit further than he would have liked, but he's okay. Just this cue ball off the side cushion. It's there. And he's on the black. Oh, John. It's getting exciting.
Yeah, big moments now. He'll be feeling it. Just got to trust your technique. We first came to the Crucible Theatre in 1977. That's 45 years ago. There has been 11 maximums during that period. That's how special it is. He's perfect on the black.
good. Needs the balance. Yeah, that's up there. Getting excited.
120.
Just 6 more balls. Hold yourself together.
122.
He's cued that beautifully as well. He's striking the ball nice. This could be another little
125.
piece of history tonight here at the Crucible in Sheffield. 4 more balls to go. Come on, Neil.
129.
Perfect on the blue. Perfect on the blue to hold for the pink. Special moment coming up for Neil Robertson. For the 12th ever maximum break at the Crucible Theatre, this black.
And a magical moment for Neil Robertson to do it in front of his mum as well. A 5th career maximum for him and a 12th at the Crucible. Way back 1983, Cliff Thorburn got things underway. But look at the names on that list. Stephen Hendry, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins, who were involved in the semi-final, also here. John, Steve, most people watching that, and I know it's after the fact, but they were saying that it was almost inevitable for the majority of that break that he was going to achieve the maximum.
Yeah, it's some of them you look at and the frames open and you think, oh, like I did one the other day and it was about 8 or 9 blacks from someone. I thought, oh, there's a maximum on it, because it didn't look like that.
Yeah.
But that one right from the start, and it's only fitting really. He's been the player of the season, won 4 events, came here as the pre-tournament favourite. It's only sort of a little bit of icing on the cake for him to make a maximum at the Crucible.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match as well against Jack Lazowski, all the way to the wire. And of course, you saw he shook hands with Anthony McGill and Judd Trump, who were also embroiled in an incredible match on the other side. That particular session of snooker here at the Crucible may be one of the best we've seen from both tables. And I think the Jack Lazowski and Neil Robertson match was probably one of the best matches of this tournament so far as well.
Neil Robertson, obviously, as Steve says, he's had a wonderful season, but it's still for snooker fans to hear him talking about how much a 147 means here at the Crucible. It's something that means quite a lot to us watching it.
Yeah, it's like it's like a goal scorer scoring the winner at Wembley, or a fantastic putt on the last green at Augusta. It's something you'll remember all your life, and it was a brilliant maximum. And he when he's old and grey, like we are, he can have a look back at the old video and see the 147 he made.
One day I will know what that's like. But back to our semi-final between Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins. After the first 4 frames, the Rocket still holds a 4-frame advantage. And as hard as John Higgins tried as the players returned for the next 4 frames, he couldn't close the gap at the end of those first 4 frames, and he remains with a lot of work to do to reel in Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's, we've said it before, he's an excellent front runner. John Higgins is going to have to find a way of making bigger breaks than 58. Will he do it in the next 4 frames? We'll find out with Stephen Hendry and Dennis Taylor.
Thank you, Rishi. And an awful lot of John Higgins supporters in the Crucible Theatre. They know that he can come back from this deficit. Another little mini session to play, 4 frames. But Ronnie did what great champions do. He finished that first session with a century break. I'm not happy with the break-off shot. Maybe we'll see why in a minute. Now let's see if the mid-session interval can turn things around for John Higgins and his supporters. But this is a tough shot.
One.
And now we know why Ronnie O'Sullivan was shaking his head as he went back to his seat after the break-off. That was a cracker there from John.
Now, can John, for the first time in this final, get in first with a nice long pop and win the frame at this visit? I should say semi-final, actually.
Nine. Sixteen.
You really feel that John has got to win this little mini session 3-1. Obviously 4-0 would be lovely, but can't really see that happening. But if he can win the 3 of the 4, but that's a poor positional shot. He looks 24. To the heavens, exhales. I mean, he's got a choice here. This red to right corner, a really aggressive shot is to pot it, screw it off the bunch of reds, back up the table. But you better make sure you pot the red. Big shot, this. Brilliant. Brilliant. And for once, he's opened the reds and he's perfectly on the colour. With all the reds exactly as he wants them.
25.
Fantastic shot.
That's typical of John Higgins. He was so disappointed with the positional shot he played, and then he took, well, he took 29. The bull by the horns there, and what a result. Played beautifully.
$30.
Yeah, John shared the 4 frames. To be 14-10 behind, I mean, you'd never write John Higgins off at your peril. But it'd be a tough ask.
37. Yeah.
Just spotted something on the cue ball there. You put every ounce of concentration into this effort.
Okay.
Yeah, in normal situation, the way the balls are placed,
38.
you'd say this is frame over, really. John Higgins at the table. But as we keep saying, he hasn't scored. Highest break in this match, still 58.
$45.
But the beauty of this chance is now he's got the reds in the open, no more cannons required. Just a matter of keeping your concentration, keeping control of that cue ball.
46.
2 opening frames lasting over an hour with some magnificent tactical and safety play. And then all of a sudden, it's changed completely. Ronnie O'Sullivan taking the frame before the mid-session interval with a century break. And he knew when he broke off, he wasn't happy with the break off. But it has to be said, the first shot that John knocked in was superb, and he deserves
61.
everything he's getting here. Not quite safe in this frame just yet.
Yeah, it's time to sort of double down on your concentration now with the way the reds are. Last thing you want is a careless miss, and then Ronnie coming in to clearing the table.
'67. '68.
Well, that's the frame safe. Mathematically, Ronnie needs a snooker. Can John go and make his first century of this semi-final?
'75.
Just what the doctor ordered here for John Higgins. As well as, you know, winning the frame one, because it just gives himself a huge boost.
82.
Well, this is exactly what he did in the quarterfinal against Jack Lisowski. Played 2 impeccable frames to win that match. But this is wonderful stuff here.
90. 91.
He's made 896 centuries in his career, 57 this season.
'96. '97.
We've had 98 centuries in this year's Betfred World Championship. Make that 99. 10 up all around the Crucible.
'103.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about missing the blind. All Ronnie O'Sullivan did was break off, and John Higgins, with a superb long red, went on to make a century. And now the scoreline is Ronnie O'Sullivan 12, John Higgins 9.
Yes, an 8th century of the tournament for John Higgins, a 99th of this year's championship. It means that we're just 9 short of last year's record. And the beauty about a long tournament like this, Steve, is the fact that we see so many different elements of players, from the granite that John Higgins produced this morning to something a little bit more glorious.
Yeah, and the storyline of the match unfolds in different ways with more twists and turns. As Stephen Hendry was saying, at some stage with John Higgins, he's got to start to stamp his authority on the match. And the real way to do that, obviously the frame's the most important thing, is to try and keep your opponent off the table and get them to go cold. So winning the frame in one visit does the job nicely.
I have to say that this is a massive shot we're about to show you, because if this goes wrong, this could be the end of the semi-final. He's taken the bull by the horns here, and he's gone full-blooded into the pack, but the way he's played it with control, If you hit that too hard, you screw the cue ball back to the broad cushion, you've got nothing. He's played that to perfection. If that went wrong, Ronnie was going to have a field day.
There are obviously fine margins, and it takes a bit of courage to produce those moments.
You've got to be brave at this level. Cutting your losses and playing home and away shots doesn't work.
It's John Higgins' turn to leave a red off the break-off. Again, not easy, and I'm not sure if this red is straight enough for Ronnie to be able to just drop it in for the black to left corner. No, there's too much angle there. Yeah, because there's too much angle, refusing it.
Just having a look to see if he had a go at this red into the left middle pocket. Would he leave everything fairly safe? But what a pot this would be. The one to the left that he's looking at. He hit the other red, but he knew he wasn't going to leave a great deal. There definitely was enough room for the red to go in the middle pocket. And one of those very awkward frames now with 3 reds up the other end of the table. There was no tactical play in the last 2 frames, both players making centuries. There's going to be a little bit of tactical play at the start of this frame. The reds are nicely open, colours are all nicely placed, but who's going to make the first mistake?
Ronnie's he went up the table to have a look at if he puts the cue ball near the green pocket, does that block the red to left middle with the green? I think it does. As a cue ball maybe travelled a little bit too far. I mean, this is a difficult pot, and you're bound to be leaving Ronnie in if you miss.
Looking at that angle, if he knocks it in, he's going to finish on pink or black. Big shot, though. Wonderful cueing. Picking up, I don't know what's picking up the cue ball. Sometimes it just picks up little bits that can be transferred from the carpet sometimes. Remember, whatever's on the carpet, you can get it on the bottom of your trousers. And it's amazing how it transfers onto the cue ball.
Yeah, that was an excellent shot.
8.
Controlled the cue ball beautifully for the cannon. And having made the century in a previous frame, now he'll be feeling a lot more confident in scoring heavily. As I say, that would have given him a huge boost of belief.
Nine.
Well, he's just stopped in his tracks a wee bit there because he's just put the cue ball in an area. He's got a choice of 2 pots, one to right middle, one to right corner, but the one to the right corner he wanted to be straight, and if he's dead straight on the one to the right middle, then he may have to play the stun. Well, it looks pretty straight. You don't want to be trying to pinch a bit of the pocket in these shots to get up for the blue. This is missable. Yeah. You see the anger,
John Higgins,
the frustration.
16.
He was trying to pinch a bit of the pocket to get right side of the blue.
Yeah, it was the shot before he was a little bit annoyed with himself. You don't often get that reaction from John Higgins, but it was the shot before that he left it slightly awkward for himself, because he's done all the hard work, opened all the table up. Well, it was open, but he got in with a fantastic opening pot. And that was just a little awkward.
1.
John in his chair, and he's absolutely furious. He knew that possibly could have been his time in this match to reel off 3 or 4 frames.
Eight. Nine.
The worrying thing for John Higgins is in this little mini session, will that misread stay with him? That's the biggest test. He'll be fearing the worst in this frame. The way Ronnie has played in this championship, he'd be fully expecting Ronnie to win the frame here. So he's got 2 frames left. He's got to get his thoughts back together, get his composure back.
Could have played that one a little better. Needs a little bit of assistance now. That needs to pull up, and it has done. So, well, even if he's straight
15.
on the black, I think he can maneuver the cue ball. Well, he's got a slight angle. He's got to get reverse side on this. Let's watch the white as it spins off. out into the middle of the table. Played perfectly.
23. $30. 31.
And just that little cannon there has put all the reds on. The 4 reds were tied up there before that last shot. And just gently nudged them. See, they're tied up, and watch this
38.
shot. Just a flick of the red, and they're all on.
39.
Yeah, it's tough to have to sit there and see your opponent knocking the balls in that you should have been knocking in. And you don't see John get frustrated like that very often, but he's just keeping his focus, composure.
Yeah, it's so difficult. It's one of the most difficult things about playing in these matches when you do
46.
that, because you're sat in your chair, you're hating yourself. You really are.
47.
Trying to be positive is almost impossible. But as I say, you've got 2 frames after this one. Also,
54.
Why it's so frustrating as well for Johnny. He started to find his scoring form. He started to look like he was going to win a bunch of frames in one visit.
55.
But Ronnie is just, I think the whole championship, actually, you could count in one hand the amount of easy balls he's missed. He's just, when he gets in, he's just not missing.
62. $63.
Just needs the one more red to make the frame
69.
safe. And every chance now that this could be the 3rd century in 3 frames.
72. $73. $78. 79. $86. 87.
Yeah, this has been ruthless.
94. 96.
This looks like we're going to get the 100th century here at the Crucible in this year's Betfred World Championship, which has been fantastic
99.
tournament throughout.
Yeah, absolutely ruthless. Fantastic.
108.
Break to pounce on your opponent when he misses an easy shot.
114.
World Championship form for Ronnie O'Sullivan. And again, he goes 4 frames in front at 13-9.
Well, I was expecting Ronnie O'Sullivan to raise his cue there, because that's the 100th century of the tournament, his personal 11th. And JP and Steve, JP, you were saying, watching Ronnie during that break, that this is the highest quality that we're seeing?
It doesn't get much better than this. This is two absolute titans of the Green Bays. From the minute John Higgins missed the pot in the middle pocket, and he was absolutely kicking himself when he did it, he knew full well what was coming, and he got what he expected.
Yeah, it was a massive moment for John Higgins. He got himself into form. He was among the balls. He just, as Stephen Hendry said, just started to steal a little bit of the pocket just so he could widen the angle. And the frustration there, we've all been there. We all know exactly what that is. If he'd have played for the centre of the pocket, maybe sacrificed a bit of position, he'd have still probably cleared them up.
But this is how tough it is. He went back to the chair knowing full well what he was going to get, and O'Sullivan didn't disappoint him. I mean, that is a fabulous visit. Any frame where they make a mistake, the other one is jumping all over it now, and it's just, it is of a standard that is higher than nearly everybody else produces.
But you two spoke at the start of the day about Ronnie playing more of his A game than John Higgins. And despite John Higgins playing very well, that still remains the case?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what Ronnie seems to be doing. Every session, he seems to be getting better as each session comes to a conclusion. That's a sign of somebody who's really tough to beat.
Yeah, but we're going to harp on that miss. And he just looked like he was getting some momentum there, John. He'd be absolutely furious with that miss.
Thank you, the 23rd frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Not the best break off from Ronnie, and this opening chance here. I'll just tell us how John's feeling. Much too. Not very often you would see that from John Higgins, but he missed that pot by so far. I mean, that is very unlike John.
Yeah, that's a hangover from the red in a previous frame. Not okay, a bit of it for the long pot, but that's for the miss in the last frame, that frustration. As I was saying, when Ronnie was making that century, can he get over that? And he hasn't done. Wow. You could hear Ronnie saying shot to himself. That's very unusual.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 8.
Well, John comes back to the table a lot sooner than he thought, so he's just got to regain that composure. He can do it. He's seen everything in the game, this player. Now it's Ronnie's turn to be a bit frustrated, just swiping the cue away. Just shows you what it means to these two players, trying to equal Stephen Hendry's 7 world titles. John going for his 5th. Lost a little bit of focus at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably a bit strong to say he's gone, but that red in the previous frame, it's almost as if he knows that was his chance to get back into this semi-final.
One. Six. Seven.
If he plays for the red that's near the left corner, it'll clear the path for the black into both pockets. And there's another probably 4
14.
reds available before he has to play any cannons.
15. $22. 23.
So the reds are just covering each other a little bit. Maybe a red right in the middle of the bunch. Goes to the left corner. That's what he's played for.
30.
There you see it. He's not ideally on it. Possibly play cannon on the red to the left of it. Leave the pink to the right middle.
$31.
Wasn't absolutely sure where the cue ball was going to finish up. Just a little bit of a tester here. Not only with the pot, but to make sure he gets back on a red. He's looked at the blue, he's looked at the pink. And the blue's the choice.
$36. $37.
Yeah, you're seeing here why snooker is such a brutal sport. You go back to that miss in the last frame from John, and since then he's basically just had to sit in his chair and watch his opponent put all the balls and just be thinking about that miss the whole time. Although after that shot he's going to be coming back
42.
to the table in this frame, John Higgins. For once a cannon has gone wrong.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 42.
the red over the left side of the table is just a little bit of a distraction with the safety shot. Ronnie deciding to play off that. Oh, this could be good. And John's got to be a little careful here. If he tries to come back down off that red, he could double kiss it. He played it very well indeed. That's an excellent return safety. And he's opened the reds up, which he needs. Can he pull a long pot out? There's a red to the right corner. He'll be heading back up the table for safety. Too thin. Oh, he's hit that far too thin. He's just, well, that's as good as a snooker maybe, but he was playing to sort of get a cannon onto the brown and hit the red far too thin, and he's had a bit of a result there.
Foul and the miss.
And you
John
can
Higgins.
understand him missing them there, because this is such an awkward shot to catch the red. He needs to hit it on the thin side to get a good safety, but when you're bridging over the yellow like that, it's so awkward.
You're right. Can we check Ollie, please?
Getting them to check on the monitor. That looks spot on to me. Well done, Marcel. Eckardt, referee, has got it spot on there.
John. Yeah. Thanks, Ollie.
There's not many harder safety shots than bridging over a ball like this to catch this one on the thin side.
Foul and the miss. John Higgins.
Well, that was very unusual. He miscued and the white to stop there. Look at this. Don't think I've ever seen that before. And now he'll be warned, because he loses.
John, do you agree to position? Ronnie, you could. Yeah, Ronnie, it's his third attempt.
Yeah, he's got to hit them this time, otherwise he loses the frame. To make sure that he hit those, but he's left a pot.
1.
No, that was a brilliant pot. And you consider that's the horror pocket from last frame. Well, I've seen John make some breaks in his career under pressure, but having seen what's happened in the previous frame, this would be right up there in terms of showing character. Huge slice of luck, obviously, to leave the cue ball in front of the yellow, but can he take advantage of that?
4. Ten. 11.
He hasn't covered everything, surely.
18.
Took the opportunity to play a little cannon. It looked impossible not to finish on something, and he's stuck in the red. Amazing. Just when he got himself going again, he's got to play a safety shot.
John Higgins, 18.
Well, he's not going to win the frame with this excellent pot, but he's going to put John in a lot of trouble.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Thought he might have been able to block this escape route off there, Ronnie. This red will go up into the corner between blue and green. He's looking at the one next to the black. What's his choice? He's looked at both. It's the one next to the black. Another potential body blow for John Higgins, because I thought he was going to take this frame and he was unlucky to stick in the two reds when he opened them.
Yep, I clean it.
Well, we're leaving it here on BBC Two, but a quick channel change to BBC One, and Hazel will take command for the conclusion of this terrific session.
Welcome back to the Crucible Theatre for the decisive acts in this year's semi-finals of the Betfred World Snooker Championship. World number 1, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and four-time world champ John Higgins involved in an intense match, the third of a possible 4 sessions, which began at 10 a.m. this morning. It's O'Sullivan in the ascendancy. He began the day 10-6 in front. He now leads 39 in this, the penultimate frame of their morning, the 23rd, all being watched by Stephen Hendry and Dennis Taylor.
Thank you, Hazel.
20.
It's been a fascinating
21.
morning session. Both players making century breaks. Ronnie had 2. John Higgins will be kicking himself because he had a chance to take this frame and pinch it.
27.
And he was unlucky when he stuck in the reds, when he was just playing a simple little cannon.
29.
Yeah, I fear that that could be John's chance to win the semi-final
32.
gone with those 2 errors in the last 2 frames. As I say, write him off at your peril, but I'm not sure he can come back from that.
36.
Especially the way that Ronnie O'Sullivan is playing. He's just been the whole championship sublime in his focus and his play.
Not a bad shot with the rest.
41.
Not a bad positional shot from the pink there. So John missed his chance to potentially pinch the frame. And as Ronnie O'Sullivan leaves the arena, he would be more than delighted. He's now leading by 14 frames to 9.
Steve Davis and John Parrott have been absolutely engrossed in this match, and this is the widest gap. There's been a 5-frame advantage now. I saw you guys at the beginning of the show saying 17 is a long way away, but he's inching very close now.
He is, and it's looking like he may have broke the back of the match because John has had his chances in the last couple of frames. The red in the middle that he missed, and even in that frame there, Steve, he was perfect. He played a little cannon up into 3 reds. It went wrong, and from that minute, he was never in the frame again. So he's had his chances. He's let them slip.
And an evident frustration from Higgins there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen John be as angry around the table. He banged the cue down on there. It was a bit of a shock, and I think it may have been a shock for John as well to realise he'd lost the plot a bit there. Ronnie didn't clear the frame in one visit from that, but then John played an awful safety shot, a positional shot that John just mentioned there, and had to laugh at himself because things had gone so wrong. How he gets himself back from there here, I mean, the last frame obviously would be one he needs to win, but he's not in a mentally great place at the moment.
Well, we've been watching snooker for a long time, and I know everyone at home has enjoyed matches over the years, but I can honestly say this is one of the most intense atmospheres we've ever witnessed here at the Crucible. Back we go, last frame of this session.
He's got to take this last frame. It's not the best break-off shot. Needs the brown to come to his rescue. And I think it has. 14-10. He's still in with a chance. 15-9. It'll be an uphill battle.
One.
Well, they don't come any better than that.
Six. Seven. 14. 15.
'Played that shot to perfection. You want to miss the red that's closest to the black.
22.
Screw the cue ball to the right side and bring that red towards the right corner. Beautifully played. Ominous now this for John Higgins.
He's already made 4 centuries in the semi-finals and 2 90s. Almost straight on that blue, and just the power forced the angle.
29. 34. 35.
He's okay. I think he thought he'd just hit that a little bit hard, but it's perfect. And it's even better now.
42. 43. 48. 49.
It's the first to 17. It goes through to the final. Players will return this evening. And how many frames
56.
is going to be needed to get through to the final? We'll find out in a few minutes' time.
63.
Absolutely clinical when he's getting in amongst the balls, Ronnie.
64.
Black down. I believe John needing a snooker. Looks like Ronnie's going to be taking 6-frame lead into that final session.
71.
I think he's broken the back of this semi-final.
72. 78. 79.
He's now just wandering around the Crucible Theatre as if he was in his club having a practice session. He is an amazing talent to watch.
85. 86. 93. 94.
Can he drop in behind this red to give us his 5th century in this semi-final? Of course he can.
99.
'What a session this Crucible crowd have witnessed here this morning.
107.
2 very tactical frames that lasted an hour.
109.
We've had everything. Brilliant clearances. 4 century breaks.
112. 116.
He'll need 2 frames this evening, but John Higgins will never give up. But it's a long way back. Certainly the way the Rocket is playing at the moment.
127.
Well, what a wonderful session of snooker we've witnessed here this morning. Unbelievable play. And Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the session and he now leads by 15 frames to 9. Just requires 2 for a place in the final.
Yeah, it finishes off with his 5th century of this match and his 12th in total in the championship, and really is in cruise control now, you got to say. 6 in front of Higgins, and would you say that's the session that has broken the back of this match, Steve?
Yeah, it was a fascinating session. It had a bit of everything. The drama was there at the start, the tension was back, and then we had like Ronnie sort of keeping his momentum, his lead, the frustration of John Higgins, and then at the end, Ronnie O'Sullivan was magnificent. I don't think we'll ever see a player as good as him ever play the game.
Well,
another one coming along.
Well, he's a couple of frames away now from a place in an 8th final of his career. Obviously, John's already been in 8 himself. And I think it's just the magnitude of some of these numbers that we're chucking around here. It just shows the longevity and the standard and the brilliance that these 2 wonderful sportsmen have produced over the years.
I mean, I feel a bit sorry for John today because he's not quite had it, nearly got back in, but he's playing a genius. I mean, he is playing against a genius. You'll never see the likes of him again. To finish a session off like that, he's had everything chucked at him today. He's had frames that have taken half an hour. He's been put through the mill. He came back with 100. He's had frames that have gone bitty and awkward. He's come back again. He has stood up to everything and come out of that session 5-3 in front of it. The boy's a genius.
You will never take anything for granted, however, against John Higgins. And actually, just looking back through it, Steve, he hasn't beaten John for 21 years here, not since the final, way back when, at the start of this century.
Yeah, but he's had encouragement, and he's had even more encouragement today. Watching John, who's obviously under it a bit, banging the cue was a sort of sign that, you know, that was breaking the back of the match. And then maybe an even more important moment was, I don't know if you saw every ball we were watching, obviously every ball. John Higgins got very lucky and hit the blue on the way down the safety shot and ended up over the top of the yellow. And Ronnie all of a sudden struggled to get out of it. John got back in the game and was in prime position and made an elementary mistake going into some reds, and then just laughed at his own failings. And it just seemed like that was the end of the match. Weirdly.
Extraordinary, isn't it? Because what we saw earlier in the contest, in the first couple of sessions, was Ronnie. He was back at the cue, he wrapped the knuckles on the table. He was feeling it out there as well, wasn't it? It's had absolutely everything, this game.
Well, they both want to beat each other. It's as simple
So
as that.
badly.
You know, they've played since they were juniors. This is and every single thing they've played in since they turned pro. This is their 80th match they've ever played against each other, and it's still there, and it'll be there when they're in the wheelchairs.
I'd love to. John missed a red in the middle pocket, which he was really frustrated about. I'd love to have known what the outcome would have been if that goes in. Yeah. It's ifs and buts, this game, always has been.
It's very interesting because Ronnie said earlier in the tournament that there was an unspoken rivalry, which was a sort of motivating factor about who was going to stand the test of time best, who was going to be the most, the guy whose career would last longest. And I guess it is. I mean, the fact that we've got 3 of these fellas that have been in the game since, well, 1992 when they turned professional, it's an extraordinary testament to their skill and indeed to their determination.
Yeah, and look, Mark Williams, John Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan, unbelievable, all 3 of them. I think Ronnie's going to last the test the longest, in the same way as maybe me and Jimmy White era. Jimmy lasted longer because that innate talent that Jimmy had kept him in the game longer. You know, that's sort of something that helps you out as you get older. And Ronnie's got more than Mark and John, even though they've got special talents as well. But he's just got that little bit more.
What is it you think? I mean, we've talked about this over the years, but you know, when you see the 3 of them in the semi-final lineup, which has been touted as the best ever at the Crucible in the semi-finals, is there just something about these 3 that has enabled them to continue this standard? Is it a fluke, or have they actually been a consequence? Have they affected one another in terms of how they've gone through?
I'm pretty sure they've collectively helped each other with the competitive nature of it, but they're just 3 freaks. I mean, I can't put it any other way. I mean, to be 46 and 47 to play the standard, getting in the semi-final of the World Championship, still have good eyesight. I mean, it's a consideration. You know, they've all still got good eyesight. They're all still thinking clearly. They're all, don't worry about who turns up. Any young guns come, we'll play them. And we also, you know, we talk about the game about young lads. We need more young people. They've got to get past these 3. These 3 set a benchmark that's very difficult to reach.
Is their game better suited to this longer format? Because obviously on the tour we're playing shorter games, sprints, but this is the ultimate test.
Yeah, it's the ultimate test, and of course, yeah, this is suited to them. I mean, the standard bunching up behind them is getting better and better all the time, so trying to guarantee winning best of 7s, best of 9s, best of 11s gets more difficult for the great players, but they get a bit more breathing space. You know, I mean, Ronnie was 3-0 behind in a couple of matches so far in this tournament. You know, 3-0 in a best of 7, you know, you're probably going to lose that, but they know how to play multi-session matches. They've got all the experience, but they got all the talent, and they got the bottle as well. The 3 of them are incredible, great coincidence.
The funny thing is, you say that in the 2 games, right from the very start, when he was 3-0 down in the first round to Dave Gilbert, he looked focused.
Yep.
He looked like he was right on the money, like it wasn't bothering him in the slightest being 3-0 behind, and he's been like right through the event. And that session, if there was any cracks in anywhere, that would have found you out, and he's come back and gone, bang, take that back.
Do you sense that he feels that this is going to be his best chance? He's had 1 go at this to try and equal Stephen's record, but this could be the moment.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, every year that goes by, that makes it a bit more difficult because the standard will probably get better and better, and it seems like it's speeding up, that standard. But there's one more thing to do. He's got to win 2 frames, and if anybody can turn it around, well, there's 2, maybe, Mark Williams and John Higgins, but John Higgins can come out once again, rewind, refocus. He is capable, but it would be a monumental effort.
It certainly will be, but you wouldn't rule anything out where Mr Higgins is concerned. What a morning. I think you should probably take a breather. You can stay on for a bit, John.
I don't get one.
We'll bring you some lunch in here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a double shift for John today. And in fact, it's a double shift for the guys that we've just been watching, because they're back at 7 o'clock this evening to finish this one off. But we will have a conclusion this afternoon.